Hey, welcome to another video on the Camaro 69 Convert. So I'm going to try to use my microphone in this. It seems like it's working. I don't know, it's been cutting in and out on me before, but hopefully it'll work. So anyway, in this one, we're going to try to wrap up all the rust patching, get that completely finished. And then, we've had some really hot weather here. So we're kind of waiting for a break in it to get blasting done, but when we get that blasting done, we'll get this thing in, and it's got to get epoxy on it. So we'll finally get that step done. I know I've been saying that for a while, but it's going to happen this time. So yeah, I'll get to work, and you guys stick around and see how it goes. So I think I alluded in the last video or showed a little of some more rust we found. So I already got this patch in here. There was just a, 1/8 inch or whatever hole that was blasted through. So ended up cutting out some and made that patch. For this one, this is where the fender bolts up. And so I had to cut this block off of the rusted piece. And we'll get that fitted in there like so. Get that all welded on. And that should be done. And then, I knew we had this out here, but in the process of making this patch, I dropped my patch inside. Didn't have the magnet on there yet. And when I dropped it in there, I looked and I could see daylight along here. So this panel is not really connected to this one. So probably end up cutting out a section of this and into here and making these two pieces and welding them together to get that repaired. And then we'll just have to keep going over the fine-tooth comb and, did I say tooth? Fine-tooth comb and try to get all this patched up. Alright, so here's the piece I got cut out. So, she went in kind of like so. There we go, like that. And yeah, it's pretty crusty inside, a few holes in there. So now we got all good metal. Feels pretty good on the insides here, so we're good to make some patches up and get them fitted in. Got the first part of the patch in, so that's the inside piece. Now this will be just an easy, simple strap. It's a little heavier gauge. Looks like it's maybe a 16 gauge. 18 to 16 gauge, but get that piece in and then we'll have this all buttoned up. I'll just get a little bit of protectant on that little primer. None of this has primer under it, but we'll put it wherever we put in new metal. Alright, cowl's done. It's all patched. The mount here for the fender all good in, and got this patch all ground on nice clean. So yeah, this should be good. Now we'll just do a little more investigating and see what else we can find. So I'm kind of having to wait here to get this thing blasted on the underside and inside interior floor pan and stuff, so I can get the epoxy on it. We've had a crazy heat wave. It's up in the 90s, high humidity. I got the dehumidifier just cranking away out here, trying to keep it decent in here in the shop with the doors shut and windows all closed up good. So I'm waiting on that. Decided to work on the motor here some. I started stripping it, and I think this paint, I don't know if because this was a factory replacement motor from 73, I believe. I don't know if this is a factory paint job on there, but it's a good paint job. It was on there. But I've been using a little of this stripper on it. I couldn't find the aircraft stripper, at least not easily. So I've been using this on it. It's working. It's taking a little time, but we're getting there all down to nice clean metal. And since we're not using the valve covers or the oil pan or the timing cover, I'll probably just leave them on, strip everything else that I need stripped, and then I'll get my epoxy on it and get it painted, and then pull all the, the intake valve covers, all that off. Rather than having to mask it all off, I'll just let the parts do the masking for me. That's kind of my plan right now. So yeah, we'll get this thing stripped nice and clean and get some paint on it and make her look pretty. And then hopefully we'll get this thing all in epoxy. You getting sick of hearing that? So I'm getting it ready to go and get sandblasted this time, so it'll be etched and ready for the epoxy primer. And so I'm scraping off more of the seam sealer and stuff all around on this thing, trying to get rid of all that just so it's quicker and easier at the blasters. But here's something that's just crazy. Look at here. This was all nice and covered fully, from here to here with this factory seam sealer. And as I cut into it to get this little seam out, there it is, a little bit of rust. I mean, it's nothing that's through. It's not a structural issue or anything, but that's where if you don't get rid of all of this seam sealer and get into all these seams, there's rust down in there. And I mean, who knows? It might take another 40 years before that would actually affect this corner here, but it's there, and you want to get every little bit of it as you can. I mean, granted, if you don't dip it where it's actually gone into an acid bath that gets in between every panel, every lap weld, there's still stuff in there. And most of us can't afford dipping, and it's hard to find. There's really nobody within, I'd say, 100, 200 miles of me that does it. So yeah, it's crazy. So you want to get off everything you can, get to as much as you can, and get it cleaned out. All right, ready to go to Florida. So actually, I got it ready now. Finally, we're getting it over to get it blasted underneath and inside. So it's just up the road here on the side street. So nice thing about this rotisserie is it's actually got a hitch set up for it, so we can pull it on up. We'll get her blasted today and get it into some primer. So it is all blasted. I already spent a couple hours getting it all cleaned up. I don't know if you can ever get it all out, but now I've also taken and DA'd quarter panels and treated them with the acid etch, so any of these little spots are completely neutralized. Use the acid wash and then a pre-cleaner afterwards to neutralize the acid. And yeah, it looks very good. I always like seeing them like this, kind of that body in white, like they're new from the factory. So yeah, I'm ready to throw the epoxy onto the shaker, get that going, and we'll get this thing all blacked out, top to bottom. It's been a long time coming, but like I say, now we start seeing some progress and start feeling some of the rewards. So all right, I'm gonna put this down and get the paint or epoxy shaking, and we'll get her on, see how it looks when we're done. Well, you can't fire anymore. Got her in epoxy. So yeah, came out good, I think. I'm pretty happy with the way the quarter panels are looking. This side, there's a little bit of wrinkling along the top edge there where the weld seam is, and looks like a little low maybe right in there. But otherwise, the body line looks pretty sharp. I'm happy with that. This all looks really good down in here. So yeah, I think we're good. Very, very little mud will be needed. Like I said, first I'll put just a little bit of the fiberglass reinforced filler just because, you know, if there's any little pinholes or anything, you want that for the waterproofing. Seal it up good. If you put Bondo on there and there's a pinhole, that Bondo will soak up moisture and cause you problems down the road. So, but yeah, underside looks good too. It took about 1.5 gallons of sprayable to get 2 heavy wet coats on it. But otherwise, yeah, it all went pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with epoxy. It seems to spray out and lay out pretty nice. I was a little frustrated still with crap falling out from the blaster. And I spent a good 3-4 hours vacuuming and cleaning and blowing and vacuuming and wiping and cleaning. And still, as I was rotating, you know, during my priming, more was falling out. So there's a little, like on that driver's side floor pan, there's a little texture in the floor. But we'll, before we undercoat and stuff, we'll scuff it again. I'll take most of that out. But yeah, this quarter panel actually came out even better along here, because remember, this one I did go up a little farther. I did this one second. I went up a little farther into here, and I think that worked much better. So now it's just a real thin bit of mud up in here, and the edge of the line looks really nice. See it better there. Yeah, trunk floors, all good. Looks like a new car. Try to get in all the nooks and crannies and get everything sealed up as good as possible. So, all right. I think I'll end the video here. We'll have to come back with starting to put a little undercoat on it and seam sealer, and maybe get some that fiberglass reinforced filler on these spots, and we'll move along. So all right, for all of you that stuck around and watched the whole video, I appreciate it very much, and thank you, and we will see you in the next video. So long, everybody. Bye.